Welcome to Nuke's Fitness Podcast. My name is Manouk Vink, and after having struggled with my body image and my fitness journey for more than 10 years, leading me to all sorts of extremes, I have now finally cracked the code on how you can achieve a fit and toned physique without extremes and restrictions. Now, being a certified nutritionist and personal trainer, I have made it my mission to help women achieve their body goals by feeling empowered through fitness instead of being afraid of foods and being controlled by the fitness industry. In this podcast, I will be sharing with you tried and true methods on how you can finally achieve your dream body and tell you the secrets most coaches won't. So if you are tired of working your ass off without getting results, or you feel like you're putting in all the work but not seeing change in the mirror, this podcast is for you. I will be dropping some fitness truth bombs so you can start taking control of your body goals while still enjoying life. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Nuke's Fitness Podcast. I just want to take a moment and thank you so much for tuning in today, for showing up, and for listening to this podcast. And I hope you're having a good time. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and reviews on the podcast so far. Having said that, we're going to get straight into it today. And as you may have seen by the title, today we are going to be talking about why you are working your butt off and you're not seeing the results that you want. Why you're doing everything right, but it just doesn't seem to be making a change in your physique, in the weight on the scale, in the mirror. You're just not seeing it. And we're going to dive into why that could be. Believe me, I totally know what it feels like when you are slaving away in the gym, when you are focusing on your nutrition and you think you've got it all right, but you're just not seeing any change. And then people around you are doing the same thing in your eyes and their body is transforming like crazy. And you're wondering, what am I doing wrong? What am I missing here that they're getting right and I'm not? Because I'm going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I'm focusing on my nutrition. I'm only eating healthy foods. I'm not drinking much. I'm not snacking. I'm not eating sugar. And still my weight is not budging. And still I'm not seeing the definition in my body that I want. And still I am not getting toned. And everything that I think I should be doing is not giving me the result that I want. Or you could even be following a crash diet or a juice cleanse and you're right back where you started right after you end it. So this happens so regularly, and it happened to me as well. There was a phase where I just came out of my bodybuilding competition and I gained weight back, and I wanted to get back in shape. I wanted to lean out again because I was panicking, because I was like, oh my God, I look terrible. I'm large, I'm huge. How do I get back in shape? And obviously, you know, your perception of yourself is always messed up. And especially at that time, my body image was just not very good. After the competition, you go from such an extreme and then, you know, you have to navigate your way to living life again and eating normally. And the same goes for whoever's listening to this, who's followed a diet and gotten results, but then ended up right back where you started. And that's because you can't go back to what you ate before your diet, because when you do that, what happens is your body's not used to that anymore, and so your body will respond to that quite quickly. So we're going to get into something a little more technical here. I'm taking this podcast in a little bit of a different direction than I thought, but when you think of your diet and you followed your diet and you got results, and you think you need to keep doing that diet to get those results. But then you also want to start enjoying your life. So what happens is you don't go into starvation mode. So starvation mode is a myth. Starvation mode is not a thing. What actually happens is your metabolism slows down. So what happened with me, for example, my bodybuilding competition, I had such an extreme diet and I was eating such small amount of calories for such a long period of time that what ended up happening is your body is smart. Your body adjusts to this. So my body adjusted to the amount of calories that it was getting in, especially because I was in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time. So my body adjusted its energy expenditure to the amount of calories that I was getting in. And you might be wondering, yeah, but I'm moving the same amount. How is that possible? So there's little intricacies in your body. So for example, like when you're blinking, when you're fidgeting, when you're doing certain things where your body will try to conserve energy and try to not use as much energy where it can. And that is when your metabolism slows down. So if you've been in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time, so if you've followed a crash diet before in the past and you've done it for a long time, what happens is your body adjusts its metabolic rate. So we get to reason number one, you are working your butt off and you're not seeing results in the mirror. It could be that you're not eating in a calorie deficit. And you could be going, yeah, but Manouk, I'm eating like 1,200 calories. So first of all, we need to make sure that you're actually eating a lower amount of calories than that you're burning. And there's several factors to this. You might not be tracking every single thing that you're eating and you're just ballparking where you're at. You need to actually measure where you're at to really know how many calories you're getting in. So that could be one reason. Another reason could be if you've been dieting for a long time and for an extended period in the past, or right after you get out of your diet, you're struggling to stick to your body weight, to your body goals, it could be because your metabolism has slowed down. And that's the problem. So the metabolism, so your metabolic rate or your maintenance amount of calories that you were eating before. So right, they say that women burn about 2,000 calories a day. That's just a ballpark. Everybody's different. So you should first of all figure out where your calories are at. And then if you've been in a calorie deficit for an extended amount of time, it could be that your metabolism has slowed down. So if you're gaining weight, that means you are not eating in a calorie deficit. So what I would suggest here is you need to figure out where you're at. How many calories are you getting in? So what you need to do is be real and honest with yourself. What are you eating on a daily basis? Like even count the oils, the sauces, and all these things. Okay? And then see where you're at. And then if you're not losing weight, that means you're not in a calorie deficit. That is one factor that could be triggering this. So going back to my story, I came out of a bodybuilding competition. I tried the best that I could to, slowly get back into a normal diet or eating routine, but I was so focused on like leaning out again and trying everything that I could to lose weight. My body was just not responding. And that could be because my metabolism was damaged from being in a calorie deficit for such a long amount of time. So my body was just not adapting quickly enough. And yet I still was eating in a calorie deficit in my eyes, but my body was not responding. So that is one factor. One reason that you could be working your butt off, but you're not seeing the results that you want. It's because you're not actually eating in a calorie deficit. And then another thing that comes to mind immediately is, yeah, but I'm eating so healthy. So again, this brings me back to the calories. At the end of the day, calories are a big part of why you might or might not be losing fat or weight. And if you're eating healthily, so you're eating avocados, you're eating nuts, you're eating oats, you're eating all the foods in the healthy bracket, right? You're eating all of that. You could be eating healthily, but if you're not eating for fat loss and you're not eating for muscle gain and you're not eating to achieve your fitness goals, then you're not going to see the results in the mirror or on the scale. And that's because you're eating healthily, but you're not eating to get fit, to tone up, to lose fat. There's a difference between these two things. Because I could be eating, I'm not suggesting you do this, but I could be eating chocolate all day, and as long as I'm in a calorie deficit, I would lose weight. But I would not get fitter or I would not get more toned because I'm not getting the nutrients in that I should be getting in to get fitter or toned. But I could be drinking protein shakes all day and having chocolate next to it, and then I could still hit my goals, right? So there are so many intricacies when you look at this. Then I could still get fitter, but am I eating a healthy diet, right? If I'm only eating protein shakes and chocolate and donuts, but I'm leaning out and I'm getting toned, does that mean I'm healthy? My answer is no, because I'm not getting nutrients in, I'm not getting micronutrients in, I'm not taking care of my body, and it's going to show in other ways. So fit and healthy are two separate things. So you could be eating healthy, but you could not be eating for fat loss or for toning up. You're not eating the right nutrients, the right macros, the right intake for you to hit the goals that you want to hit. So when we're looking at you working your butt off and you think you're only eating healthy and you think you're only eating in calorie deficit, you need to get clear on whether you're actually eating in a calorie deficit, first of all, and whether you're actually eating to get fit, to get toned, to build muscle, and to lose fat. Because there's a difference there. And also, depending on your goal, are you eating enough? So if you're looking at gaining glutes, like if you're a booty girl and you want to build your glutes, then you need to probably eat more than that you're eating right now. I don't know, because I don't know who I'm talking to, but those are all things that you need to get clear on, and you need to understand your nutrition and where you're at. So even though you think you're doing everything right, something isn't working. So something isn't matching up. So you could be missing something there, and you need to get clear on what that is. So putting a nutrition aside, that is a big factor of it. That is a big factor of why you might not be seeing results when you're doing everything you believe you can to achieve those goals. And believe me, I was there. I remember being in uni before I did any bodybuilding competition, before I became a personal trainer, when I was navigating the fitness space myself and starting to understand it more. I also thought I was restricting my diet. I thought I was eating as little as I could. I thought I was drinking protein shakes, and I was working out. Why was I not seeing the results that I wanted? And it wasn't until I actually started tracking what I should be eating and really, really being honest with myself and really tracking where I was at and really realizing that in the end, what I was doing, because I was lacking so much nutrition throughout the day, I would end up snacking on crackers with cheese. And then in the evening, I would take 2 plates of dinner instead of 1. Like, I'd keep going back to the pan. Even though it was healthy, it was chicken and noodles, for example, and there were no sugars and extra sauces, I was still eating more than that I was burning. So, or eating the same as I was burning. So I was just not getting it in. I was just not getting the results that I wanted. Even though in my mind, I thought I was doing everything that I could, but I wasn't understanding all the factors. So I wasn't taking into consideration all the macros. I wasn't being honest and actually measuring what I was getting in. And I was like, I did that wrong. That's what I should be doing. So I read something there. So I took that and I took this and I took that. It wasn't based off of anything. I just thought, okay, protein shake, chicken and noodles, and then I'm sure crackers and cheese won't harm me. But it was based off of nothing. And then other than that, I was like maybe eating a yogurt during the day and then filling up my hunger with snacks that were high calorie. But I didn't realize they were high calorie because in my mind, they were healthy snacks. Because there's nothing unhealthy about the things that I was eating. So that's the nutrition part of it. Then, you guys, really, this one really also gets to me. Like, nutrition, I get. It's so confusing. And this part is also something that's so difficult to wrap your head around. And believe me, it took me a while as well. You are not training in the right way to achieve your goals. So yes, I get it. You're in the gym. You are working your butt off. You are doing classes. You are sweating like crazy. You're destroyed after every single workout. You are doing abs till the cows come home because you want those abs. You are going multiple times a week and you're really working out hard. Wonderful. You're basically collapsing after every workout session. Great. Great. But you could be doing all of that and not seeing results. And that is the most frustrating part about it. And the reason you are not seeing results is because you are not following a structured workout program. You're probably going in there following a class. Then you're going in there doing something else that you saw online that you should be doing. Then you're going in there and you're doing something else. So yes, you are working out and you're getting your exercise in, which is great. So be proud of yourself for doing that. But you're probably so frustrated because why are you working so hard and it's not working? And that's because you don't have a program that's designed for your goals. You're not working towards anything. You're just doing stuff. You're just exercising, which is great, wonderful. But if you want to start actually seeing transformation in your body, you need a structured workout program. And this is what I refer to. I also say this in my challenge. I say, okay, why is it that when you want to learn a dance routine, right? You want to learn a dance routine. Do you go into the studio and do a different choreography every time you practice that dance routine? Or do you go into the studio and you practice the same choreography every time until you get it down, until you get that choreography nailed and you know what you need to be doing? I'm guessing you do the second, right? Because if you would go into the studio and dance and do a different choreography every time you entered the dance studio, then how the hell are you going to learn the one choreography, that one dance routine? So why is it when it comes to the gym and when it comes to strength training and when it comes to working out, we like to do everything differently? Like every week we like to do something different to keep ourselves entertained. They literally have a word for it. When I was a group, I did some group classes in the past where I gave group classes and they literally asked me to give some sort of entertainment. So they're saying it has to be entertaining. And so that goes against, I struggled with that. I tried to get some logic in those group classes. I was always focusing on like technique and really getting progress. And I'd give them some information because my brain couldn't handle just giving random exercises. It made no sense to me because I was like, guys, you are sweating your ass off over here, but you're not getting any results from it. So I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you are constantly going to the gym and you're working your butt off, but there's no structure to it, and you're not consistently progressing in your workouts, then you won't get the results that you want because you're just constantly just doing something different. So if you're going to the gym and today you're doing this and tomorrow you're doing that, and you don't actually have a program that you're following that is tailored to what you want to achieve, then you could be working your butt off, eating what you think is right, and not seeing those results. So when I say that we make it so much more difficult than it needs to be, I mean it. Because you don't need a magic food to lose weight. Like, I remember reading somewhere at some point that avocado is the greatest food to lose belly fat. Like, you know, that's not how it works. You can't just, sure, you'll lose fat if you only live off of avocado and you're in a calorie deficit. But like, you know, there's not one magic food that's going to get you that result. It's a combination of everything. And it's eating in a calorie deficit, making sure you've got your macros correct for you so you're getting enough proteins in, and then following a structured workout program depending on your specific goal. And then you want to build on that. So if you're going to the gym and you're doing different exercises every single week or every single session, no wonder you're not seeing results, because you're not allowing yourself to progress in that manner. You're not building upon the muscles that you are working on. So you're not allowing your muscles the space to grow, the opportunity to grow, because you're targeting them differently every single time. So you need to allow your body to progress in that exercise. Get better at the exercises that are best for your specific goal. So if, for example, you're looking to build glutes, pick a glute exercise like a hip thrust and consistently keep doing that 2 or 3 times a week and build upon it, and then see if you start seeing change. Because if you're doing a booty class here, a Zumba class there, and then one free weight session here, there is nothing's building. You're burning calories, sure, but then you might as well just go for a walk or a run. You're not, I mean, unless that's what you want, you don't want to build towards anything. But if you really want to start transforming your body, you want to tone up your body, you want to start seeing those lines, that definition in your body, you need to consistently be triggering the same muscles, and you need to consistently be building on the muscles that you want to transform. So if you want definition in your shoulders, you need to do shoulder exercises, and you need to consistently be doing that. You need to consistently be building upon that. And I can hear you guys already asking, yeah, but I don't want my shoulders to be big, blah, blah, blah. That's another topic for another day. But I want to tell you, you will not get big if you are in a calorie deficit. The ladies, anyway, we're touching upon it now, apparently. The ladies that get big arms and get larger from their exercises are trying to work towards that. B, they might have genetics that are a bit more like that. But if you're eating calorie deficit, it wouldn't be. Like, if you look at my bodybuilding pictures from my bodybuilding competition, I was training heavy shoulders. My shoulders did not look large. They were toned. So, like, it's all about nutrition and how you target it and what your goal is and how you're working towards that. And also, if you're scared of looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger as a woman, you will not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger as a woman unless you take some extra supplements, if you know what I mean. The kind that you're not supposed to be taking. Like, that's the reality of it. You're not just, women that look like that, they don't naturally look like that. Unless they have some crazy genetics, but it doesn't happen. So, okay, I'm going off on a tangent here. I get so passionate about this stuff. So anyways, 1, you might not be eating in a calorie deficit, even though you think you are. 2, you need to get your macros right. 3, I'm counting more than I thought I was mentioning. 3, you might be eating healthy, but you're not eating to get fit or to get toned. 4, you are not following the right workout program, and you are not following a structured workout program, and your exercises are varying too much. Do you see how you could be doing everything right, working your butt off, focusing on your nutrition, restricting yourself, training and sweating and thinking you're doing everything right, but you're not seeing the results? Do you see how that could happen when you think you're doing it all right, but just some tweaks need to be made, and then you will be doing it right? And then lastly, this is a hot topic, but I think it is a very important one. And I am not saying this to give you an excuse not to train. It's just, again, about balance. Cortisol, your stress hormone, it plays a big factor. Whether some people believe that or not, it is just a fact, because I've experienced it myself. I was eating in a calorie deficit. I was training extremely hard and following a structured workout program, and I was building muscle, sure, but I was not losing fat, even though I was in a calorie deficit, and I was burning a lot of calories because I was doing 2 hours of workouts a day, 5 times a week. I was doing an hour of weight training and an hour of cardio. And my body was when I tell you my body was so stressed out, it was just nothing was flowing. Like, you're not just giving your body a break. You need to listen to your body, and it needs rest to recover, to recuperate, to get some breathing room. And so my cortisol levels were just too high. I was stressing about why I wasn't losing weight and why I was not losing fat, why I wasn't toning up, because I was doing everything right. Like, I had the knowledge of what I should be doing, and I overdid it. I just overdid it. I was overstressing out my body. And I wasn't giving it a break. And it was when I went on vacation for 2 weeks and I realized my body was so exhausted, I didn't even want to go train. And so in those 2 weeks, I went to the gym once or twice. And my boyfriend said to me, "Oh my God, babe, you've lost weight." And that's because I gave my body a break. It needed rest. This is not me saying you can achieve your goals without training. You still need to go to the gym. You still need to focus on your nutrition. But if you're overdoing it, and if you're putting extra stress on trying to achieve that goal that you've always wanted, then it could be that you're over stressing out your body. You're putting so much pressure on it that it's not functioning. And that's like putting pressure on anything in life. If you put so much pressure on it, you're not allowing it to flow. You're not allowing it to breathe. And when does that ever work? When does it ever work when you put so much pressure on something that it suffocates? And the same thing goes with your body. Your body's not going to respond when there's so much pressure on it. So if this is you and you feel like you are following a structured workout program, you think you've got it all figured out, and you're focusing on your nutrition, you're doing everything, but you're so like tight and locked with it, and you're over stressing about it, and you're training 2 hours a week, 6 to 7 times, 2 hours a session, 6 to 7 times a week, you might need to just take a little step back and reevaluate where you're at. Because rest is extremely important and sleep is extremely important. All of these factors play a big role in you achieving your fitness goals. And now I go to the gym 3 times a week. I strength train 3 times a week. I focus on my nutrition, but I'm not overstressed about it. I eat everything that I want to eat. I just focus that I get my proteins in. And of course, I have my knowledge of what I should be eating and what I shouldn't be eating. But my body has never responded better. And it's never like, I'm not bloated anymore. I feel leaner, lighter. Yes, I'm building some muscle here and there still, but it's not like before. I was like if you could see me, if you're watching me, I was like swollen, like swollen. My body was holding on to so much stress that it was just not functioning. It's just not functioning. So that is another factor. So there's a couple of factors that you could be looking at and you might need to get clear on and see if maybe something needs to be changed, something needs to be tweaked. Maybe you're overdoing it. Maybe you're just not following the right strength training regime or right workout program for your goals. Maybe you think you're in a calorie deficit, but you're not. Maybe you're eating healthy, but you're not eating to get fit. There are so many little nuances here. And once you start understanding all the factors, all the little things that could have an impact on where you're at and why you're not seeing results, and once you start understanding that, you probably don't have to work as hard, A, and B, it's probably also not as difficult as you think it is. Because a lot of the times, we like to make it so much harder than that it needs to be. And that is literally why I also do this, because I used to think, oh my God, this code, I cannot crack it. Why? It's just me. It's my body. It just doesn't function the way other people's bodies do. It just doesn't respond the way other people's bodies do. And that's just not the case. Your body will respond the way it needs to respond if you're doing the right thing for it to achieve those goals. And that's all it is. And that's literally what we tackle in my membership even more so. But even if you want to start figuring out where you're at and what you need to start changing, in my free challenge, we tackle all of this. So yeah, because I want to spread the news that it doesn't need to be as difficult as we make it. And there's always this hot new workout program or this hot new technique or this hot new diet that's going to give you that bikini body. When that's just, it's not that difficult. There's not some magical thing except for following a structured workout routine that is meant for you and following a diet that is meant for your goals and finding balance in that is going to give you the results that you want to achieve. So I think a lot of the time we're putting too much pressure on ourselves. And then again, also when it comes to cardio, the same thing. We think we need to be exhausted on a treadmill, really like basically sweating. If you enjoy that, if you get a good feeling from that, go for it. But you don't need to be destroying your body to get results. And what I mean by destroying your body, you don't need to basically be collapsing after a workout for it to be effective at all. That doesn't mean you don't need to push yourself when you're doing certain exercises. That takes me to another topic where you progressively overload. So you progressively make the exercise more difficult with weight, and you push yourself and make the exercises more difficult. But that's something different than increasing the intenseness of a workout. So just because you're doing a HIIT workout and you're completely broken after that HIIT workout and you're sweating and exhausted and sore the next day does not mean it was an effective workout. We get those things mixed up. You need to understand that following a structured workout program where you keep building upon the same exercises depending on your goal and you keep progressing in them and getting better at them, that's when you start seeing transformation in the mirror. Not when you're consistently doing extreme HIIT exercises and workouts that break you down and make you feel like you can't move the next day. That's not always going to get you where you want to be. So these are the main reasons you are probably working your butt off, your ass off, and you are probably thinking you're doing everything right and everything you can possibly do to achieve your fitness goals, but there needs to be some tweaking and some changing there. That could be it. And I feel so many of us struggle with that. And the good news is when you figure out how you should actually set up your workout routine and what adjustments you need to make to your nutrition, you will see that it doesn't need to be as difficult as you think it is. And a great example of that is one of my NUSA members. She had a trainer, and they also want to intertrain you. Literally, they want to make you feel like you've worked out. That doesn't mean it was effective, right? So this trainer gave her when I heard about it, I was like, okay, they're just random exercises, and she feels like she's worked out, but after or during working with this personal trainer, she was fatigued a lot of the time. She wasn't really getting the results that she wanted. And now being in my membership, we've adjusted a few small things. And at the moment, she can only make it to the gym twice a week. And she's adjusted some of her nutritional things, increased her protein, and she's already lost 3 kilos in 2 months. So I'm just saying, you're probably making it more difficult than it needs to be. And it can be so much simpler and it can be so much more effective. Probably spending less time in the gym, probably restricting your diet less, and having more fun on the process. So check yourself. See which one of these you could be doing right now that is probably holding you back from achieving the results that you want to achieve. and making you feel good about your fitness journey. It has nothing to do with whether your body is made for it or not, because I know that you can achieve whatever you set your mind to. It's just finding the right technique and knowing the right things to achieve those goals. And if you want to start with that and start seeing that transformation, if you're listening to this now, I probably started my live version of the free Dream Body Challenge, but it is always available on replay, and I will link it in the show notes. So if you want to start transforming your body for free with me, then click the link in the show notes or go to academy.nukesfitness.com/join-challenge, and you can join the challenge immediately and get access to all the information that you need to start transforming your body today in a correct way and stop this vicious cycle of you feeling frustrated, exhausted, confused because you feel like you're doing everything that you need to do and you're not seeing the results in the mirror, on the scale, when you try on new clothes, when you put on your bikini. We can change that. And it doesn't need to be as hard as you think. Anyways, beautiful, thank you so much again for listening to the third episode of Nuke's Fitness Podcast. I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that you're here, you're listening, you're excited about it, hopefully, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and you feel like you got a lot of value out of it, it would mean the world to me if you would rate and review the podcast and share it with someone who you feel like would get a lot of value out of it. In the meantime, come hang out with me on my Instagram at ManookFink, or join my free challenge, which will be linked in the show notes. It's academy.nukesfitness.com/join-challenge. If you can't remember that name, check the links in the show notes, and I hope to see you there.